G'day Bomber fans, it is Monday, so a little trade update. It's been a few days since we had any big news. We obviously have already signed a small handful of free agents. Todd Goldstein, Ben Mackay and Jade Gresham will all play at Essendon next year, but we still have three deals left to complete, so I'll go over our trade business, update you guys on where everything currently sits and how each deal gets done. Alrighty, so Massimo D'Ambrosio news has been hard to come by recently, but some Hawthorn dealing has us looking at potential options for a trade now, so Mass has already requested a trade, as we know. He wants more game time. We all know this here. We do have a contract offer on the table for him, a 1-year deal. So if a trade was to fall through, we could well retain him. They are offering 2 years. There is always the threat of walking a player to the preseason draft. This comes up a lot in news. You got to remember, players don't want this. Most of the time, players would rather stay in a familiar environment than be rookie drafted or potentially end up elsewhere. So ideal world, a deal is struck, and Hawthorn have just completed a trade that could unlock it. They received 2 picks from West Coast for Tyler Brockman, who was a better player than Massimo, better trade value, but they got picks 44 and 63. I personally think that pick 44 is going to be the one involved if there was to be one, and there is always the possibility we send over a very late pick in return to sweeten the deal, but this draft class is not as deep as others. List spots are tight. Experts believe there will be less than 50 players taken in the national draft, so pick 44, that's really the only one that makes sense for Dodoro to bargain with. Their next selection is 33, which is too high in my opinion. There is always the chance this drags out to Tuesday or Wednesday when they get other deals done though. Hawthorn have Kajitsky leaving, Chol coming in. I think we see Chol's deal done before this one, so more to come here definitely. Xavier Duursma, I'm going to go over this one pretty briefly before going into the deal that really impacts this one the most, but there was a lot of talk over the weekend, at least between me and some other fans, about this and really how it evolved. So Essendon were actually hot on this as soon as they knew Duursma was wanting out. We were the first club to contact Port, and there were links away as well with Freo. Freo were into him because his partner lives in WA, so a move there made sense, but Duursma and his management were really impressed by Essendon's pitch, so it was a no-brainer in the end, it seems. Now Duursma, I've said a few times, I don't see this getting done if we don't get BZT through. We are really trying to keep our draft hand strong, so if the BZT trade doesn't eventuate, we won't be getting Duursma, I think. We will have to pay too much from a draft perspective to bring in Duursma. Really, from here, it's all about figuring out what his worth is compared to BZT, which I guess I'll get to now. So this Brendan Zerk-Thatcher deal is complicated. It's really complicated because Port are yet to complete any trades. They have 3 players who have requested moves there. There are also rumours more players have been around the joint as well, but as it is, they have a really poor draft hand. They have moves to complete, and none seem that close to completion, at least the important ones. So Radaglia has hit a roadblock that is going down to the wire. BZT, there is some negotiating that needs to be done still. There is every chance that Essendon retain BZT or Geelong retain Radaglia. It's looking increasingly likely that one of these deals won't get done. Geelong and Essendon are 2 of the toughest teams to trade with. We are really annoying. We ask way too much for players that aren't that good. I think if either deal was to get done, BZT will head over to Port, and I think it's because they don't have to give up much from a draft perspective. If they send over Duursma, we will most likely have to send a pick back. Not a high one, but a pick regardless. So even that one draft selection could help unlock the key to the Radaglia deal. I think if you are Port and you want these players, you probably have to start by getting something back for Duursma, even if it isn't that much. It's why there has been talk online of highish picks being swapped, which I do not buy. This is just fan speculation, but it shows you how everyone is thinking. Everyone is trying to figure out how these deals get done because no one really knows. I think if you're looking at how shallow the draft is, sending over BZT and pick, let's say 52 for Duursma makes the most sense, but I think even that could not get it done. They will want more, I would say, and maybe that more comes from Hawthorn, from the Massimo D'Ambrosio deal. I think all of these have been at a tiny little stalemate for a couple of days, and all that needs to happen is one of these 3 clubs involved, Essendon, Hawthorn and Port, to make a deal somewhere that will spark some inspiration, and that pick received could be used elsewhere. I think all 3 deals get done eventually though. I would be a bit frustrated if they don't, but it's not going to be easy. This could well go down to Wednesday. Alrighty, now there have been a few delisted players that deserve homes in 2024. I just want to highlight a few for you because we're going to get closer to the draft soon. We will have to talk about this. I reckon the biggest is Riley Bonner, at least for a team like Essendon. Now you look at our general defensive depth. If Massimo D'Ambrosio leaves, it's pretty light. You got outside midfield options like Trent Bianco, Lockie O'Brien. If we miss Duursma maybe, because they could be wing options. Trey Rusco's around from Collingwood. Brodie McLaughlin, a key forward from Gold Coast. We've been linked to inside mid Jack Bytel in the past. So there are a few players here that I'm sure Dodoro is at least thinking about. But the way we are positioned, I think us attacking the draft hard for youth is more likely. But that is all though, a speedy little trade update. Let me know what you think down below. I'm keen for these trades to drop. Surely all three players get their desired moves, you would hope at least. But that is all. Like, subscribe, and go Bombers.